elevator speech on self-management, so I'm just going to jump right in. So this week we were talking about how to teach students to do self-management, which is an evidence-based practice. It's just one of many EBPs. Self-management is how am I doing? So I can manage myself and say, how am I doing when I teach? How am I doing when I respond to the situation? In the same way, students can do self-management through how am I doing on this specific behavior and so forth. So some examples of specific self-management strategies are self-monitoring, which we're going to talk a lot about, self-evaluating, self-instruction, goal setting, and strategy instruction. So a lot of that is taking a look at yourself and determining whether or not you're doing a good job. Using a scale to determine whether or not you're doing a good job. Teaching yourself something. Setting a goal that you can reach based on the other things mentioned. And so, all of these that are part of self-management, which is an evidence-based practice, help students alter the negative behaviors and replace them with positive ones, which is a huge goal that we want children to achieve. And so there's a lot of benefits. That it's easy to implement. It is suitable for students of all abilities. You don't just have to be diagnosed with an EBD or a disability. You could be completely neurotypical and this could work for you. The students are able to modify their own behaviors. They're able to feel like they have control, to feel like they're a part of their own behavior plan. This can be used with social behaviors and academic behaviors. It can be used across all settings, no matter whether you're in the academic setting sitting at a desk, whether you're at related arts, at lunch, on the playground. And this can be used in A, B, or C, so antecedent, behavior, or consequence. And so it's very easy to implement. There are 5 steps to implementation. One is to define the target behavior. So whether that be being inattentive, it could be as severe as biting, no matter what, it's the B in ABC, the behavior. So you have to first define that. And the student also has to help define it because this is self-management. So once you have defined it, you have to determine the teacher cue. So whether that's going to be the teacher like tapping on the desk when they see the antecedent coming to help them correct the behavior themselves, whether that's a verbal warning, a timer, the use of an analog clock or a digital clock. Every time that the teacher stands at a specific location, that's a visual cue for the student to know. You and your student have to determine what's best for their individual needs. Step 3 is determine the recording method. And so we want the student to be the one recording their behaviors and evaluating themselves. How am I doing? So you could do this through a tally chart, through a rating scale, through a checklist. Anything that's going to work, once again, for your child's unique needs. If the child is younger and they can't really do a checklist yet, a tally chart or maybe even a sticker chart might be best for them. You just have to work with your individual student. Step 4 is to teach self-monitoring. So you have to first model, think aloud, lead, show them how it's done. Then you have to provide them their rationale. Why are we doing this? Why is this important? Then the student needs to be given a choice so that once again it goes back to feeling like they're in control of part of their behavior plan. You need to integrate goal setting. So that comes back over here to examples of self-management, which falls under the umbrella of an evidence-based practice. And you need to set realistic goals that are going to drive and motivate your student back to the individualization. And then finally, you need to embed this into your current class behavior plan. So if everyone in the class follows a token system, a clip chart, pom-poms, whatever, then you have to take what you have separately and incorporate it back to the whole class setting. And then finally, you need to implement it. So it's super easy. Once you follow all these plans, you can set it in motion to where it's all like fluid motion. They are evaluating themselves, but also seeing the cues and writing down what they do. And this does not stop the recording process. Implementation combines all of this. It combines taking the target BX, doing it, the teacher cueing them to like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, then recording and self-monitoring, trying to end that. It's all a big flow and a big process. And then you always need to allow for self-evaluations at the end. So I learned a lot about self-management in this module, and I hope that you guys did too.